Hi, and welcome to Chair Yoga. I'm Casey Carroll, and I'm so excited to practice with you today. We have a great class with the theme of intention, and I just wanted to let you know that this is a recording, so I'm hoping you watch this over and over again. And in that case, I want you to be able to play whatever music you want if you want to change that up. So I've decided not to play music from my end. So feel free to add music in your background. Just make sure that you have the level at a volume where you can hear my cues. And let's get started. So we'll just begin by arriving. And if you want to close your eyes, I invite you to do that. Checking in with your breath, just noticing your natural breath. Maybe you're lengthening your inhale and your exhale. And if you'd like to set an intention for class, I invite you to do that now. And in class, we've been working with the theme of intention and talking about how having an intention is wonderful. It is the first step. But then we also need to have some sort of action to partner with that intention. So, for example, if your intention today is to be present, maybe you focus on your breath, especially today. Or maybe you focus on seeing and not just looking when you're gazing forward over your fingertips, or when we're in a twist and you're looking over your shoulder. Really see what's in front of you. Or maybe your intention is to be grounded. And in that case, in whatever posture we're in, really notice your feet grounded into the mat or floor. Notice your sit bones grounded into the chair. Just a couple more breaths here. And if your eyes were closed, I invite you to open them. Maybe you're making small, gentle movements with the body, just coming back. Connecting with the breath and the body can take us into a different state of mind. It can relax us. So maybe the room feels different. Maybe it doesn't. Wherever you are is perfect. And we'll begin by connecting our breath with our movement. So we can have our hands at our sides, palms facing forward. And we'll inhale our arms up to the sky, opening our chest, chin lifted, and then exhaling the arms down, chin can come down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up and exhaling down. And go ahead and do a few more of those on your own. And again, maybe even lengthening that inhale and exhale just a little bit. And when that feels complete, we'll come back to center. And center is our mountain posture or Tadasana. We can always come back here for our foundation. So to make sure that our legs are in the right spot, go ahead and make two fists and put them in between your knees. Knees are stacked over the ankles. That long, tall spine, shoulders up, back, and down. And now we'll go ahead and warm up the wrists and the ankles. So if you want, you can have your arms out in front of you and just make some circles. And if you want, you can also have your legs out a little bit, making circles with your ankles. And just breathing here. And then switching directions. And then thinking about that difference between looking and seeing. What do you see right now? And for some of you, that might be something distracting, like a person or a cat running around, and that's okay. And we'll come back to center. And we'll go into our shoulders now. And we'll just do some nice rolls to the back of the room, bringing the shoulders all the way up to the ears and all the way back and all the way forward. Breathing here. One more breath and then we'll change directions. If you want, you can even lift your arms to go with your shoulders if that feels good. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to center and we'll move on to the neck. And there are a couple options here. The first is you can do some gentle circles in one direction. And the other is taking a movement chin to chest and then chin to sky, just up and down. Whichever option you choose today, just remember to breathe here. And then if you were doing circles, switch directions. And if you were going up and down, we'll now go side to side. A couple more breaths here. And we'll come back to center. And we'll open the side body now, and we'll be doing that with our breath. So if you want, raise both arms up on an inhale and then exhale to one side. Inhale up, exhale to the side. Now you might notice as we continue doing this that the sit bone that is on the opposite side of where you're bending over wants to come up off the chair. Just notice that and ground down through both sit bones. You might not bend as far over, but that's not the goal. The goal is just to get into the side body and open it up. And we'll just do one more. And we'll come back to center. And now we'll open up the back and the torso and the chest with cat and cow. And I'll go profile so you can see, but I'll demonstrate and feel free to join me if you'd like to. So I have my long, tall spine, my Tadasana posture. My shoulders are up, back, and down. Chin is even tucked just a little. You can see how there's a straight line here. Maybe imagining a string pulling you up to the sky, and then your sit bones pushing down into the chair. So you have this opposite stretch happening. Feet are firmly planted on the mat or floor. And then we inhale the chest and chin up, arch the back. And then exhale, curving over chin to chest and belly into spine. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up and exhaling down. And just do a few more of these on your own at your own pace. And then we'll come back to center, and And really now, just do any intuitive movement that maybe your body wants to do. I'm feeling some circles right now. Just whatever feels good. Making sure you're breathing, whatever you're doing. And now we'll move into Warrior One or Virabhadrasana One. And there's a way for us to do this in the chair and a way for us to do this without the chair. Today, we're going to do it in the chair. And I'm going to turn my chair sideways so you can see me, but you can stay where you are facing the screen. So I'm going to take my right sit bone and I'm going to come into the center of the chair with that. I'm going to root down through my right foot in front of me, and then I'm going to take my left foot behind me, just like this. Foot is flexed, toes are tucked. Gaze is forward, long, tall spine, arms come up, breath here. And then if you want, you can even do a little back bend here. Gaze going all the way up to the sky. And then arms can come down to the chair. And then I want to play with a little movement here. If you'd like to join me in this option, take your left foot just back a little bit and see if you can straighten that leg. And now we're in a lunge. Gaze is forward. You'll notice it's hard to have a long, tall spine here because we've got that hip flex. Arms can come up. Couple breaths here. Arms back down, and then bring that foot in just a little bit back to that Virabhadrasana 1, and then we'll come all the way back to center. And now I'll do the other one, the other side. So now we have our left sit bone in the middle of the chair. Long, tall spine, rooting down through the left foot. That right foot stays tucked, foot flexed, knee is bent in our Virabhadrasana 1. Arms can come up, chest and heart are open and lifted. Fingers can be spread apart, lots of energy there, pulling up to the sky. Couple of breaths here. Maybe noticing what you're seeing and not just looking. What do you see? Arms can come down to the chair, and if you'd like to join me for this lunge option, the foot just goes back just a little bit. Legs straighten, knee lifts. Gaze is forward. Shoulders up, back and down, heart and chest lifted. Chin can be lifted too. Arms come up. Soften the belly. It might want to tense up right now like mine. Soften. Where else can you soften here? Are you rooted and pushing down with that left foot into the mat? Really feeling grounded with each foot. On your next inhale, lift up long and tall. Come into a back bend if you'd like. And then exhale, hands can come down. The right foot can come in just a little bit, back to Virabhadrasana, and then forward. So that is Virabhadrasana 1, and I look forward to doing that again with you without the chair. But for our next posture, we're going to go ahead and stand. So when you're ready, we'll stand, and we're going to do just a nice forward fold just to open up the backs of the legs. So you want your chair in front of you, you want this seat closest to you, not the high part. You want to be about a foot's distance from the chair, facing the chair. Now, when we were seated, we were in Tadasana or mountain posture, and we had our foundation. Now we're going to do that while we're standing. So root down into both feet, all four corners. Knees can be slightly bent. Tailbone is tucked. Spine is long. Chest is lifted. Shoulders are up, back, and down. Arms are by your sides, palms facing forward. Chin can be tucked just a little bit. And imagining that string pulling you up from the crown of your head while grounding down through the feet into the mat or floor, stretching in those opposite directions, feeling that strength here. And we'll go into a forward fold from here, but first let's just take a breath. Maybe even remembering the intention that you had in class today. Now I invite you to have both hands on the hips, and then with a flat back, we're going to hinge forward towards the chair. Hands can gently come down and ground into the chair. Nice, long, flat back. Now you might be feeling a lot of sensation in the back of the legs. You can bend them if you'd like to. You can also play with bending and straightening them. Maybe you're even bending and straightening one at a time while you have that long, flat back. And if you want more sensation here, you can lower down. So just bending the elbows, you can start to feel the sensation. If at any time it gets to be too much, you'll know that you can stop right where you are. And one way to know, besides how loud the sensation gets, is if your breathing starts to shorten, gets shallow, or maybe even stops. There's also the option to come down to your forearms if you'd like to. Never needing to stay still in the sensation. We're not here just to suffer through anything. You can come in and out with those knees bending. Take 2 breaths here. And then if you were on your forearms, go ahead and come back to your hands. And we'll go into Warrior 3. So take your right foot into the mat, ground into the mat, all 4 corners. With a flexed foot, lift your left leg to the sky behind you. Now you might notice that your hip is opening up, and what we want is our hips to be square. So this isn't about how high we can lift our leg. This is just about getting into the sensation and feeling the strength and flexibility here. And we can come back to both feet on the mat. And I didn't mention this before, but another option with Warrior 3 would just to be to have your leg back, have your toes touching your mat. So you can stay here in a forward fold. Next option would be to have your right leg back with your toe touching the mat. And then the third option would be to flex that foot and lift that leg to the sky. Now again, let's look at that opposite stretch. So that string in the crown of your head is pulling you towards the front of the room, and your heel is pulling towards the back of the room. And you might feel more sensation in your standing leg when you do that. Just take 2 breaths here. And we'll come back to our forward fold. And then when you're ready, you can bring both hands up to your hips and hinge back up to stand into Tadasana. And we're going to do Warrior 2 now, or Virabhadrasana 2. So in this class, we'll have done 3 Virabhadrasanas, which is really exciting. So you can have your chair in a few different positions. One is it can be right in front of you with the tall side towards your body. And I am going to move mine so that you can see what's going on with my body. Another option is you can have it in front of you to hold on to. So whichever option works best for you, and you might not know yet, and in that case, having it right in front of you is perfect. So coming into Tadasana, taking a breath, and then we'll come into a wide-legged stance. Take your left toes to face the side of the room. Bend that left knee to where your knee is over your ankle. You want it either before or on top, but not further, just in case you have sensitive knees. Arms can come up. Gaze is over your front fingers. Seeing, not just looking. Taking a breath here. And then doing that opposite stretch again. So take your front fingers and pull them away from your torso towards the front of the room, and take your back fingers and pulling them away from your torso in the opposite direction. One breath here. Arms can come down, front leg straightens. And now we'll pair our breath with movement a little bit. So we'll start here in Warrior Two, and then we'll inhale, arms up, straight front leg. Exhale, back to Warrior Two. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Doing a few more of these on your own, knowing that you can use that chair in whatever way you want to, or you don't have to. It's whatever feels comfortable for you. And one more. Arms can come down, front leg straightens, toes come back to face the front of the room. And now we'll do it on the other side. So you'll take your right toes to face the opposite side of the room. Bend that knee so your knee is stacked over your ankle. Arms come up, chest is open, heart is lifted. Gaze is over those front fingers, again, seeing, not just looking. 2 big breaths here. And now let's get into that opposite stretch. So pulling the front fingers away from your torso and pulling the back fingers away in the opposite direction. One more breath. Arms can come down, bent leg can straighten, and then let's partner our breath with movement here. So we'll come back to Warrior Two, and we'll inhale our arms up, straighten that leg, and then exhale back to Warrior Two. Inhale up, gaze can go up too, and exhale, gaze back over those fingers. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Couple more on your own. And when you're ready, you can drop the arm, straighten that leg, and pivot that foot back to center. And then if you need to grab onto your chair, feel free, but we're just going to shimmy our feet back into Tadasana. And let's just take a moment here. Grounding down through our feet, tucking the tailbone, spine is long, shoulders are up, back, and down, chin is tucked just a little bit. Palms are forward. Maybe even closing the eyes for a second if that feels comfortable to you. One big breath here. And if you closed your eyes, feel free to open them. And we'll come into tree posture now. And again, there are a couple ways to have your chair. So you can have it in front of you with the back towards you, or you can have it to your side. I'm going to have mine to the side. And there are a few options for the feet that I want to show you. You can also feel free to start joining me. But what you'll do is you'll root down into the right foot and your standing leg. And then you can have your left foot kickstand onto your ankle. You can have it on your calf or on your thigh if you'd like to. Just avoid the knee. So pick whichever option you want, and then I'll go over hand options. So I'm going to pick my thigh today. I'm going to have one hand on the chair and one hand on my hip to start. I'm going to find something in front of me that's not moving, and I'm going to focus on that for my balance. Take a big breath. And then if you'd like to, maybe if you have a hand on the chair, maybe you take both to your hips and see if your tree wobbles a little bit like mine today. Maybe your hands come to heart center. Maybe arms come up. 2 breaths wherever you are. All right, and then we'll come down. That's great. And now we'll come to the other side. And just doing the same thing again on this side. We're really rooting down to that standing leg and foot, all 4 corners of the foot. Picking your other foot position. I'm going to do the thigh again on this side. Starting with one hand on the hip, one on the chair maybe. Finding that focal point to really look at and see it. And then if you'd like to, you can change hand positions. Remembering to breathe. Ooh, I got very wobbly for a second. One big breath here. And coming down. Okay, so now we'll go back to our chair. So take your time getting there. And we'll begin to wind down our practice. And we'll start that with a twist. And twists are really great for cleansing. They're great for digestion, whether that's digesting physically, emotionally, mentally. The next time you're maybe facing some sort of challenge, you can just do a twist and see what happens. It's also good to drink water when you're doing a lot of twists and after yoga in general. So we'll start by finding our seat. You're in the middle of your seat. Long, tall spine, shoulders up, back, and down. And then take your right foot towards the center. Cross your left leg over your right. If that's available to you, you can also have it to your side. You can hold the chair with your left hand. Inhale the right arm up to the sky and over to the outside of your left leg. Inhale that spine long and exhale to twist over to look over your left shoulder. Seeing, not just looking. On your next exhale, can you twist just a little further? And then when that feels complete, we'll come back to center. Taking a breath here. Left foot can come towards the center. Right leg crosses over. Right hand comes to the chair. Inhaling that left hand up to the sky and to the outside of that right thigh. Inhaling long and tall and exhaling to twist over to see what's over your shoulder. maybe softening where you can here, maybe softening the belly, maybe really using the pressure of your forearm against your knee and your knee against your forearm, each pushing against each other. So your next exhale, seeing if you can twist just a little further. One more big breath. And when you're ready, we'll come back to center. And we'll stretch out the hips and hamstrings a little bit in pigeon. So you have your feet hip width apart. Left ankle comes over the right knee. You can have one hand on your knee, one hand on your ankle. With a long, tall spine, just begin to hinge forward with a flat back into the sensation. It doesn't usually take far to start to really feel that sensation. Take a couple breaths here. And then if you'd like to, you can fold all the way over, maybe even crossing your arms. Just take 2 more breaths here. And we can come back up when you're ready. And then we'll come to the other side. So right ankle comes onto the left knee, one hand on your knee, one hand on your ankle, with that long spine hinging forward into the sensation. Now I do not have to hinge far to feel that sensation. Gaze is forward, really seeing whatever you're looking at. And then if you'd like to, on your next exhale, just releasing and fully bending over. And if you are going to cross your arms on your leg, maybe you put the opposite arm on top this time. Two breaths here. And we'll come back up whenever you're ready. And we'll just start to hug our knees into our chest, making any movement that might feel good to you, maybe some circles. If you are going to do circles, just make sure to do the opposite direction, making sure to breathe. And then when you're ready, we'll do the other knee. Just really squeezing that into your chest. Any intuitive movement that feels good here. Breathing. Knowing that we're at the end of our practice. Maybe an extra squeeze into the chest with a big thank you to yourself for being here. And then when you're ready, both feet can come to the ground. And our last posture will be Shavasana, which is our final resting posture. And if you want, you can go all the way back in your chair now and really rest on the chair. Really rest the sit bones onto the seat of the chair. Rest your back on the chair. Rest your feet on the ground or your mat. Maybe closing your eyes. Taking a few breaths and just noticing your breath. And then maybe noticing any tension you're having in your body, and on the next exhale, just release it all. Maybe noticing if you feel a little different than you did at the start of class. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Neither is right or wrong. Just noticing, just practicing noticing. And also just know that you can do any of these postures throughout the day. They don't have to just be in class. Just anytime you're in a chair, if you want to just do a quick twist, if you want to break out warrior two, you do that. Just a few more breaths here. On your next exhale, can you melt into the chair just a little more? Releasing your jaw. Maybe you're like me and have a furrowed brow. Releasing those shoulders, the torso, the hips, the legs, the hands, the arms. And maybe giving yourself permission to go through the rest of the day at your pace, not the pace of the world. Or maybe there's a mixture of both. And when you're ready, you can start to bring any movement gently back into the body. If the eyes were closed, maybe you flutter those open. And then I really just invite you to make any movement you want right now that might feel good to you. Maybe it's a big stretch. And I want to thank you so much for practicing with me today. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here. So thank you for spending this time with yourself and with me. And I hope to see you in class soon.